Welcome to the MoxStars podcast. I am Menace, one of your hosts, and I'm here with Flash. What is up, world? Welcome to the #1 show on the internet for Magic the Gathering and Dr. Pepper. We're glad to be back. It's another beautiful week in Magic Land. Is that how you describe the world of MTG? Magic Land? Is that a good...
Magic Land? I have never heard it described that way.
Like
probably never will again. Do you think there's ever going to be a Magic theme park?
Yo, no. One, I hope there's never one. Could you imagine the mascots or like the characters walking around like a Goofy, but like it's Jace or it's Chandra, and it's just like, oh, let's take pictures with your kids. Like that. I just I can't do it. I can't even do the Magic animated series like that they're creating. I don't know if I'll ever watch that. Maybe out of curiosity.
Like, you don't think down the line that, let's say, Universal buys Wizards of the Coast, like Hasbro sells it off. They don't throw us a little MTG land if the game's popular enough.
You know, if they make the names snappy enough, it could get popular, right? Could you imagine?
Or even the Magic the Gathering MTG land immersive experience in Vegas, coinciding with the Vegas convention.
Hey, if that were a thing, that would be sweet. The one thing that I will say about this whole concept, and while we're spitballing here, is that it would take so much money to continue changing rides or adding rides in a matter of 3 months or so just to keep up with releases. You know?
No, I mean you just do like retheming and stuff.
Like a Duskmorn, like, yeah, we set up this sweet Duskmorn roller coaster and you're flying through, there's static on TVs and stuff like that, and then well, not for like a VR experience or anything like that, but like if you're actually riding roller coasters, and then Aetherdrift comes out and they got to change, shift things up.
I'm just saying, somebody give me $70 million and let me just spitball. Let me just see what I come up with.
Yep. Yep. I agree.
Just
Someone give
cool 80 to 90 mil plus the rights to Magic the Gathering. Like, just I don't even need the full licensing stuff. Give me the theme park licensing.
Yeah. Just
for the Magic the Gathering properties. I will give you a cut of merch. Like, in a theme park, I'm going to be selling so much merch.
You know that merch is going to be great.
Big for you.
You know that merch is going to be great, yeah.
Mark Rosewater, and I know you're listening. Like, get me 100 mil theme park rights, theme parks license for Magic the Gathering properties. I cut you in to the merch. I cut you into a percentage of ticket sales.
It's a sweet hat.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think, yeah, Mark, you're out there listening. We know Don Cheadle's listening. He's out there. Cool. Yeah. 110 mil, and I think we can make it happen.
You got Loot walking around in a costume.
Oh, there you go.
You got how do you pronounce it? Fithlib?
Fibblefip.
The little blue homunculus.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce that?
Yeah, we have a new one that I'll try to pronounce later on the show too.
You got that guy walking around in a costume. People love that. I mean, you got what other iconic, cute looking things?
The Gitrog monster.
Oh, the Gitrog monster. You gotta have the Gitrog monster. Yeah, the number of frogs in Magic right now is just insane. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You got plenty of frogs.
Yep. Cute frogs.
Listen, I mean, anyway, Mark Rosewater, hit me up. Join the Patreon. Whatever you got to do. We got ideas.
And we also have a YouTube channel where you can support us.
And tokens.
And we have the sickest tokens. Now, Mark Rosewater, we'll cut you in on a set of these tokens. Just a cool $135 million for the rights to build a sweet theme park virtual reality experience.
Mm-hmm.
But you can subscribe, and ring that bell for more notifications on YouTube.
Can I just say one more thing?
You
I
can
will
say-
build this theme park in China if I have to. If that's the deal, right? I'm okay with that. Continue.
You know, I was going to say, you can say as many things as you want. You know, this is a podcast, right? It's a platform for spewing your opinions into the ether. But
Arguably, on a podcast, saying things is the whole point.
yes.
It's all saying things. It's almost 100% saying things.
You can also support us on Patreon, where you can become an official Pepperhead. For $3 a month, you can support the show and be a Pepper. You can be a Pepper. Be an official Pepperhead. Your name turns Dr. Pepper red on the Discord server when you sign up for that tier. You can also become a Cherry Vanilla Pepperhead for $5 a month. Get access to each of our bi-weekly giveaways. And get a shout out at the end of each episode. And then you can also join our 2-liter tier for $10 a month and get early access to the card of the week videos that we've been doing. Definitely Jeremy and Pool Boy Barry. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for your support. This week's card of the week, we have Agatha's Soul Cauldron. So we'll be creating a separate video that talks about Agatha's Soul Cauldron, how it interacts in cEDH, some combo lines, and then just our general feelings about the card. You know, like, how do you feel about it, man? That'll also be in the episode. We also have Ravenlift.
Okay.
Yeah. We also have Ravenlift hanging out in the MoxStars Dr. Pepper Lounge. We have some return guests. LeBron brought his fake family for brunch in the lounge this weekend.
Oh,
and
that's nice.
Well, he showed up, and it turns out that he'd showed up past 3 p.m., and we don't serve brunch past 3 p.m. So we had to tell him no, that the pancake batter was already thrown away, and there weren't any.
Keep him humble.
Yeah, he thinks he can just walk in and get anything he wants. He brings his fake family around. The
he brought
audacious
his
nature
family from Space Jam 2.
Yes.
To brunch?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering, I'm like, does your real family know you're here right now? Like, getting brunch after 3 p.m.? Like, anyway, Don was giving him some weird looks across the room. But yeah, Don Cheadle's definitely there too. The Algae Rhythm. So make sure that any platform you see us on, you like, subscribe, and help push the show forward. All the little tiny bones in our face. Let's see. Gears wearing in our mouths. And Nye Guy Gon' Do. Any more catchphrases? How deep is our lore these days?
Pretty deep. What was the one we came up with last week?
She. Oh man. Let's see. It's God. It's out there. It's out there. If you remember what it is, you listen to last week's episode, and your memory is better than ours. You can leave a comment on the YouTube video. Help boost that algae rhythm.
Did we ever figure out if Don Cheadle's in Wreck-It Ralph?
Oh,
Didn't anyone let us know?
No, nobody commented, so it's still a mystery. Google cannot solve our problem. And, we're going to figure it out. We know he's in Space Jam 2. And that's what matters. All right. Today, as you may, if you're listening to this and you are privy to anything Magic, you will have known that we've been seeing a lot of new cards lately from Aetherdrift, which is it's a set. It's a set for sure. We have no idea what the hell is going on, but Jesus, do we have some new cards to look at? Oh yeah, look at them. Okay, yeah. we've picked out a few cards. And before we started the show, before we started recording, we started talking about a few different cards that we thought might be impactful in cEDH, and then I hit refresh and we got some more new cards. And well, one is we got an incredible, and what I do think will be, for me, this might be my favorite card from the set so far, but it's a good place to get started. Ketramose, the New Dawn. 1 white and a black legendary creature. It's a god. This is from an Amonkhet setting. It's a 4/4 menace, lifelink, indestructible. Ketramose can't attack or block unless there are 7 or more cards in exile. Whenever 1 or more cards are put into exile from graveyards and or the battlefield during your turn, you draw a card and lose 1 life. This is an incredible draw engine in the right setting, right? So in the right deck, I think exiling cards is not that difficult to do anymore, right? This could even be a commander deck, or this could even be your commander, and I think that you are going to have an incredible draw engine right there. So our card of the week, Agatha's Soul Cauldron, interacts with this in a very, in a way that triggers the ability. So I think that from graveyards, it's put into exile from graveyards. That's it. Any graveyard during your turn, you draw a card and gain 1 life. You can draw. It isn't something that says it triggers once per turn either. So as long as you have a way to activate an ability that continues to exile a card from a graveyard, something like Lion Sash.
Okay, I was going to say Kaya Orzhov Usurper.
Yeah. I like that. Kaya Orzhov, if I'm spelling that right, Usurper. Yeah, 3-mana Planeswalker. And it's a +1, exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. You gain 2 life if at least one of them was a creature card. Yeah, this, I think this goes into the deck, right? Because it draws you a card, just triggers that ability. This is one that I think has gas as a mid-range engine that can repeatedly draw you cards and set you up for your opponent's turns. This is, I'm just saying, this has gas. And the one thing is that, oh, what? You can flicker creature cards, like with Felidar Guardian or something like that. When it enters, it exiles a card from the battlefield and then returns it. So you actually don't even lose the card, but it goes to exile for a quick second, triggers the ability, comes back, and then you haven't lost anything. If anything, you've just, drawn cards and lost the life. So I think there is potential to be had there as a control, something that can control graveyards, and especially with how prolific graveyard strategies are. Policing 3 other graveyards is actually a viable strategy in order to win the game, or to control how the pace of the game goes. So I think this one has potential. I really like Ketramose quite a bit. After first impressions, it's a mythic, and it feels like it is a mythic as far as power level goes. Oh, and it has sweet flavor text. Let the past die so the future might live. Just bleak enough. All right, so Ketramose, awesome, really sweet card. We have a bunch, and I mean not just a few, we have a bunch of new mechanics. So get ready for a hodgepodge of garbage. I'm just going to say it flat out. No, I'm not holding back. Not today. Why would I hold back today? Start Your Engines is a new mechanic that has no relevance in anything outside of the draft format.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are no that we've seen spoiled so far. I don't see any cards worth getting to max speed for.
Yeah, the
You know?
payoff isn't there yet.
Yeah, I mean, have you refreshed your browser recently enough to see somewhat the driving force?
The only thing that I can see is, one, it's a mythic, right? But it's Hazaret, Godseeker. It's 1 in a red, God, of course, Hazaret. So 2 mana, indestructible haste, 5/3. That has start your engines. And then can't attack or block unless you have max speed. So it can come down. It can come down at max speed and swing for a 5/3 haste indestructible.
Mm-hmm.
It is not nothing.
I think we should pause and just say why start your engines is not good, or why we think it's not worth spending a lot of time looking at. It's that whenever an opponent loses life during your turn, if your speed is 1 or greater, increase your speed by 1. Max speed is 4, and it only triggers once each turn.
God, that's awful.
So once per turn on your turn is the restriction.
Yep. And like if it was whenever an opponent loses life whenever your opponent loses life, you increase your speed, and then that can only trigger once per turn. That's fine, right? Because then you could potentially get to max speed in a matter of like 1 turn cycle in Commander, but you add an additional line of text and you say, but if you lose life, you lose speed. Like, boom. Now you have to create, now you're in this like strange, like zone where you have to be dealing damage in order to gain speed, but also not receiving damage. Otherwise you would lose speed. And then you have some serious payoffs with the start your engines mechanic. I don't know. I'm obviously not a Magic creator. I don't design these cards or create it, but
you know what? I take back, or actually, I didn't say this. I don't have to take back anything. I don't agree with you that exhaust is a bad mechanic.
Oh, I don't think exhaust is a bad mechanic. I think it's a very limited mechanic that you have to set it up like the right way. So yeah, exhaust is another mechanic in this set. It's not like exert, even though they sound similarly, and exert is also in this set, which is
wow.
Yep, it's also here. But exhaust, flash, since you believe in it so much, tell me what it does.
As far as I know, it just means you can only activate it once per game.
Yep. So, yeah, exhaust, it says in the reminder text, it says activate each exhaust ability only once. So while this permanent is on the battlefield and it exists, you can activate this ability only once. But if it leaves the battlefield and comes back, you can activate it again, which is super sweet. So there is one legendary creature that we've seen so far that has a few exhaust abilities and has been, stirring the discussion on Reddit as being a potential cEDH deck, and that is the Pikachu of Magic the Gathering, Loot, the Pathfinder. So this is a 2 green, blue, red legendary creature, Beast Noble. I don't know why it's a noble. What is it? How noble is this creature? From the artwork, he just looks a goofy little mischief maker. But he's a 2/4 with double strike, vigilance, and haste. I don't know how relevant those lines of text will be, considering it's a 2/4. But it has, you can exhaust, pay a green, tap it, add 3 mana of any one color. So right away, a dork that can come down, pay a green, tap it, because it has haste, and then continue pushing forward. You can also pay a blue, tap it, draw 3 cards. That one seems good. It's just an ancestral recall. That's the right word, I think. The right sequence of words. Draw 3 cards. Ancestral recall. If I'm wrong, leave a comment.
It tracks.
Yep.
It tracks.
Yeah. You can also pay a red, tap it. Loot deals 3 damage to any target. So it has a lightning bolt, a ancestral recall, and a dark ritual, essentially, on it. But a little bit better on the dark ritual thing. Black Lotus. But you don't have to pay mana for Black Lotus. All right.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Anyway, the discussion surrounding loot is that it is a food chain commander that, once you activate the abilities, you flicker it or you send it back to the command zone, you recast it with infinite mana that you generated through food chain. I don't know how viable it is since food chain's mana is very restricted in the way that you can only use it to cast creature spells. You can't use it to activate abilities or whatever. So you still need another, I guess, as long as you have 1 green mana in addition, you can do it. Right? Because as long as you have that green mana, you can add green to your mana pool infinitely. Because it says you can pay a green, tap it, add 3 mana of any one color. So you cast loot 1,000,000 times and then add 1,000,000 additional green mana. And then you cast it 1,000,000 more times. 3,000,000 more times.
Okay.
7,000,000 more times until you've generated mana of all colors infinitely. Well, 7,000,000thly. And then you can feed that mana into drawing 3 cards, dealing 3 damage. Probably just the damage, honestly. If we're trying to shortcut our way to victory, I think the damage probably does it. But that you would need to set up food chain, having 1 additional green mana, and then you are good to go. And loot will do the job. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's a food chain deck. I'm not building this, though. I know what all you out there were thinking. Man, this seems like...
Partial food chain deck that you're not going to build.
You just said what everybody else was thinking. Yeah, this is the first food chain deck that I will not build, and I will likely lose to it when I go to a tournament. I don't know. I've had trouble assembling food chain in Teamer in the past. There aren't any enchantment tutors. There aren't really many ways outside of gamble a couple things. There's there's that blue card that allows you to search for any card and then put it 3rd from the top. Well laid plans or something like that. That sounds like a card that would do something like that. It's probably wrong. If I'm wrong, please leave a comment. Help Don Cheadle out. The algae rhythm. But yeah, this is a food chain deck. I'm curious how viable it will be. Obviously, all these abilities are incredibly powerful. These are all really, 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 really strong abilities. Given to a little Pikachu looking thing. This would definitely be at your theme park, right? You definitely need loot.
Yes. Loot is, I think, core lore of the Magic franchise at this point. The extent they even care about their mythos, loot is definitely a core part of that, I think.
Yeah, I think when I go to MagicCon, if they don't have plushies of loot at the official Magic the Gathering loot, or I was going to say loot table.
Hey, and by the way, Mark Rosewater, if I'm building this park in China, I am going to sell so much friggin' loot merch. It's going to be unbelievable. Printing money.
You'll be printing loot.
We'll be printing loot.
Get that loot, baby. The catchphrases print themselves. If we're giving you ideas here, we want to cut. Obviously. But
obviously, what's RVIG?
Yeah. I don't know. But the episode must continue. Loot's cool. We're going to make a ton of loot off this episode. We also have. Oh, here's the thing. Here's the. We were talking about Fibblethip earlier. I have no idea how to pronounce this one. There's a new homunculus. Apparently, he's like the start your engines. Let's go. Ready, set, go guy. It's VNWXT. How would you pronounce that?
Vinwixt.
Wow, that was a really great first shot. That's probably exactly what it is. I was not going to
Let me try this one again. Homunculus.
Spot on. I would not have.
Did it.
I would not have pronounced it that way. I would have been like Vinwixt.
I mean, it's possible. I don't know.
I think Vinwixt sounds. That actually sounds legit. Like it's Vinwixt verbose host, and there's no relevant text on it.
Yeah. Start your engines. You have no max hand size, and if you get to max speed, this is good. If you would draw a card, draw 2 cards instead. You know what? There are cards in blue that give you that max speed ability that cost more mana, but without all the nonsense.
Here's the deal with the max speed thing. If there is a way for you to circumvent the whole once per turn during your turn type nonsense, right? Mm-hmm. It could be a relevant mechanic where Vinwixt becomes an actually viable 2-drop of great value engine, right, for cEDH. But if they do not print a card that allows you to circumvent the once per turn, only during your turn, speed thing, then they're none of these are relevant. They will never be relevant. There's no way. Just for reference, when I was in the tournament a couple weekends ago now, God, time flies. There was a point where it got to turn 6, and we were at, 40 minutes into the game. And it's a 90-minute timer. We did not get out of turn 6 by the time when time expired. So I'm just saying that, like, for something to take 4 turns to develop, to get a payoff, you are not getting the benefit of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to see as much as you'd hope. Anyway, that's why it's bad. You're not getting, like, unless it's in your opening hand and you have a way to deal damage every single turn. This one's a 0-4, so you can't even, like, swing on unprotected players in order to increase your speed. Like this one.
Yeah, are there any relevant blue pingers that aren't like 3 CMC?
Yeah, Tim.
He's 3 CMC, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Tim the Enchanta. Let's look him up.
Prodigal Sorcerer, if you will.
Yeah. Prodigal Sorcerer is a 3-drop. I just know it as Tim the Enchanter.
Yes, from the very expensive Monty Python secret layers.
Yeah. Hey, the price on these have dropped immensely.
Oh, have they?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. I'm curious now.
They sold out immediately, and then the price was astronomical.
Right.
For a bit afterwards.
Well, when I went to Vegas, I was on the hunt at all the vendors for these cards, right? And the only one I could find was a foil Catapult, right? And I really wanted the foil. It was $11, and I was like, really? For a set that sold out immediately? I thought this would be like $40 to get a Goblin Bombardment with a Catapult skin. Or whatever. No, it was cheap as hell. And same here. Yeah, Tim the Enchanter, very cheap. I would be curious. I really want to know. Yeah, I'll look it up. See what happens. Report back maybe next week. If I remember. Obviously, my memory sucks. I can remember cards and the art and look at a card and know what it does. But I can't remember. Do not expect me to remember to follow up. But, yeah, Aetherdrift's a thing. The Aether Spark. This is that legendary artifact planeswalker equipment that was spoiled so long ago, but it's a 4 mana colorless mana equipment that again has no relevant text for cEDH. I don't think it well, I'll read the card. As long as it's attached to a creature, Aether Spark cannot be attacked and has whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage during this turn or during your turn, put that many loyalty counters on the Aether Spark. You can +1 it to attach it to a creature you control, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. You can also -5 it to draw 2 cards, or -10, add 10 mana of any one color. I don't think that does enough.
I don't think so either.
No. Having that, like, the fact that, like, you can +1 it and attach it to up to 1 a creature or whatever, and then a full turn cycle, let's say you don't have a creature, full turn cycle, you take your turn to play this card, full turn cycle. I'm saying it multiple times because of how unlikely this is for it to happen. Goes by, full turn cycle goes by. You've whiffed on equipping it, so it can be attacked, and you're hoping, you're praying. Let's say it does get back to you. No one attacks it. You pity. You use your pity card to, like, everybody, do not attack me. I have nothing going on. Please, just let me draw 2 cards off the Aether Spark. Okay. 2 cards. I would have drawn more cards with the One Ring at this point. This is not a viable card. This is not it. And even if it were, you'd need another card to prop it up to be able to do something with it, like Sigarda's Aid. So while this is a mythic, this is a fun card.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a way where you curve into this, attach it to a creature, that creature attacks, deals 5 damage. You're immediately at 10. I don't know. Do you have, like, what's the card that you can do your loyalty abilities twice? Chain Veil?
Yeah, you got the Chain Veil, or you have Oath of Teferi.
Yeah, something like that. And then immediately you get to spend that 10 loyalty on 10 mana. And then you spend that 10 mana on other cards, which actually win the game. I think there are easier ways to get 10 mana and then use other cards to win the game.
Yes, there are. Yeah, there's right away, there's no combo present where it's like, I can't recur the Aether Spark over and over and over again. It's in dangerous, like, it is in a very safe territory as far as, like, loyalty goes, because you can't even doubling season this. Like, that's another thing, is sometimes these Planeswalker cards will come out and you can doubling season into the ultimate. This one won't even let you do that. So
yeah, I mean, it might be a Stoneforge target in a non-commander format, maybe in Modern, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, with the One Ring band there's actually room for 4 mana colorless spells. But probably not this one. We'll see. If affinity is still a thing, maybe this is something, because you're playing the salamander and stuff like that. Don't hold your breath on Aether Spark. There are other cards that are coming out with this. The rare land cycle is they're finishing the cycle of verges. So Wastewood Verge and stuff like that is the black-green. And the verges are, if you control, like in this case, it enters, it's available, it enters untapped, and it's available to tap for green. And then it only taps for black if you control a swamp or a forest. So these are like 3rd tier lands for me. Like, obviously we have fetches and lands with typings, because I think that even triomes might be more valuable than these are. But you also, the thing that the battle bond lands are even a step ahead of these, because it's just very likely that those come in untapped and tap for the mana that you need right away. So in Commander, I think this is really cool design space. You know, like I've been a big fan of the Verges since they came out in Duskmourn. But yeah, they're Verges and they enter untapped and they tap for mana. So cool. That's good stuff. We have a cycle of Gear Hulks coming to Aetherdrift as well. I'm really not sure how viable either of them are so far, just because they're mythics doesn't mean that they necessarily do a whole lot for cEDH right now. Oh, I don't want to miss this. If you notice there, I was actually filling the air with worthless cards so I could find a card worth talking about as I was scrolling, and I think I found one. Are you ready for this, Flash?
I'm ready.
All right. It's Saheeli, Radiant Creator. A green, blue, and a red legendary creature, human artificer. This card has relevant text. Whenever you cast an artificer or artifact spell, you get an energy. That's good.
That is good.
It's very good.
There are good energy cards that have been printed recently in Modern Horizons 3.
Yeah, and we've been you know, like the Modern Horizons 3 Commander, like there's more of it out there, and I think, and there have already been people like sort of brewing with energy in cEDH.
Yeah.
So
Fallout gave some stuff to it as well.
Exactly, right? So there's plenty to build around here, and potentially lots of payoff. So at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 3 energy. When you do, create a token that's a copy of target permanent you control, except it's a 5/5 artifact creature in addition to its other types and has haste. It sounds like you can make copies of, I don't know, enchantments? Sacrifice that token at the beginning of the next end step. So this has a million ways to build around it. One is obviously you need to have a pretty decent shell of energy in order to be able to make this relevant, but also artifacts. Artifacts are super cool, and they're very relevant in cEDH, considering that one of the best artifacts we've seen in a long time is also being revealed in this set. Get to it in just a sec. But I think this deck, even though it triggers only once per turn, right, there is potential for, I would say, infinite combats, right? So you create a copy of something. It has haste, like Combat Celebrant, right? And then as long as you have enough energy, you can keep getting additional combats, keep exerting that, and keep rolling forward. So I'm sure there's a way to do it, but yeah, because it says at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 3 energy. When you do, create a token that's a copy of a permanent, and blah, 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 blah. There's got to be a way for infinite combats here. I really like the design space it fills. Even more, I don't know. I'm sure this is a commander deck, or it's one of the cards from the commander decks. So they're going to print more cards that care about energy. And I think we're almost there. I think we're very, very close to having an energy relevant cEDH deck that isn't just for fun, something that can actually compete. So that's why I think it's interesting. All the folks on Reddit have been talking about different decks that they like and that they want to see. Mostly it's the teamer decks. It's Saheeli and Loot, and now Hashaton. Yeah, the Scarab's Fist. That's another one of these commander cards. It's right here. It's a white and a black zombie wizard 1/3 that whenever you discard a card, or whenever you discard a creature card, you may pay 2 and a blue. If you do, create a tapped token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. So it can eternalize cards if you pay 2 and a blue after discarding it. There's got to be also some relevant things there, creatures that have cycling on them, or ways to draw and discard. So yeah, cEDH is getting some new decks. Let's just say that in short. All right. The best artifact we've seen in a long time. Flash, would you like to do the honors? Do you know
on which card?
Do you know what we're talking about?
You're indicating no.
You know, this one's so good that I just took a shot in the dark. I thought you might be already looking at it, but repurposing Bay.
Oh, we did talk about this card before the show.
Yeah.
You know what? It's a blue card though. I didn't think. You said artifact. My mind did not go to a artifact with colored pips on it.
That's okay. That's okay. This card is insane. I get it. It does a lot. It can do a lot. This is an effect I never thought I'd see because I thought they'd hit their limit with things like Birthing Pod. Like I thought, that was just, they were done.
Yeah, it's a blue Birthing Pod for artifacts.
Yeah. 2 and a blue.
Yeah.
Artifact, not legendary. It says 2, you can pay 2, tap it, sacrifice another artifact, search your library for an artifact card with mana value equal to 1 plus the sacrifice artifact's value. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Activate only as a sorcery. So it does cost 1 more mana than normal to activate. It's not Phyrexian, so you don't have to pay 2 life to do it. But it just does, there's so many lines you can walk with this. I think the benefits are that this is just generically good in a lot of ways. There's so many artifacts out there that get played, just because they help generate mana or what have it. But I don't think this gets played immediately in every blue deck. I don't think it's that strong. But I do think that there will be cEDH decks looking to now Oswald Fiddlebender their way into combo lines. So that's where I'm at with it. I think it has a lot of potential. It can come down, and as long as you have the 5, it would be 5 mana. As long as you have the 5 mana, sometimes this is just win the game. So I'm excited to see what that means for cEDH. This is, like I said, this is a very exciting new card that we get. There have been obviously
didn't the Iron Man card kind of do something similar? Right?
Yep. Yeah.
Recently
for 5 mana. Funny enough.
For 5 mana. Okay.
Yep. Whenever it attacks, you get to sacrifice an artifact and go up and
so this is easier to proc than Iron Man.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Even though Iron Man does have haste, this definitely goes in Iron Man deck that, it's funny how fast things move, right? We were exposed to Iron Man. We saw it, and everybody, we weren't exposed to Iron Man, but I don't know why I went there, but we saw
Iron Man showed us his Hulkbuster.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yes, sir. And we saw the effect, and everybody looked at it. And same with Storm. I'm actually seeing more people brew Storm now, but people just stopped brewing Iron Man, at least in public. It was stop playing with Iron Man's Hulkbuster in public, but it was one of those things where we just saw fresh, new, fun options and just moved on. I think that this card might give the dozens of people who are still trying to make Iron Man work a new toy, something to hold on to hope with. Yeah. There are a couple more mythics that we're seeing, and obviously you can sort of get a feel for the set. The one card we are not seeing so far, because Wizards of the Coast is just full of cowards. There's no new Hepatra yet. Okay? You hear that? There's no new Hepatra. They've returned to Amonkhet. We know Hepatra lived. We know Hepatra survived, escaped Nicol Bolas alongside Hazaret, escaped into the sands, is alive, is well, has gone through many an event. We saw the whole thing with the invasions and stuff like that. No Hepatra there. We're returning to Amonkhet. No Hepatra here. They're scared. They're scared to reintroduce Hepatra because neg 1 counters they're too strong. They're too strong. They just don't want to do it. They're scared. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but they're scared to do it. And I will eat.
Cowards.
They're cowards. And I'm a warrior. Cowards can't block warriors.
Oh, that is a reference to the game Magic the Gathering.
Absolutely. It is. There was my soapbox. I took my opportunity. I took my shot. I did it. I talked about it. I told you I would. Off air, I told you I would. There's a new god. We have a couple, like outside of Ketramos, which is super awesome. There's a new Simic god that will definitely make waves in Standard. Sabsunin. It's another frog. We have another frog, but it does not say frog in its typing. It just has a big old frog face. It's a god. Reach, trample, indestructible. Can't attack or block unless it has an even number of counters on it, which I think this one will be far easier to proc. At the beginning of your first main phase, put a +1/+1 counter on Sabsunin. Then, if it has an odd number of counters on it, draw 2 cards. Yep. Card advantage. Yay! The first turn, or the turn after it comes down. Yay! All right. Flash, any more cards that you see that are like really speaking to you from this set so far?
No, I do want to make an exciting announcement. We are breaking ground on MTG land in Saudi Arabia, in 2027. It's happening.
Yeah, it was actually LeBron felt so bad about coming in and asking for brunch past our clearly posted brunch ends at 3 sign.
Yep, he came in and put the deal together.
Yep, he was very apologetic. He put a lot of pressure on our servers, but he made up for it. He definitely made up for it.
Yeah, he said he got Scott Boris on the line, and he said, Scott, you got to connect us with the royal family of Saudi Arabia, and we are going to build a Magic the Gathering theme park in the desert. Now, this isn't going to be in an existing city. Like, we are building a city in the desert. This theme park, all the infrastructure.
It'll already we'll make sure it happens. There will be running water. This will be an oasis in the middle of the desert, and we will have Hepatra merch. Hepatra will return.
There will definitely be some Hepatra merch in downtown MTG land, obviously.
Absolutely. Did we mention we have tokens? We have tokens.
We did mention we have tokens designed by Death Milk Design. So rad. They are foil.
The coolest tokens.
They're not lenticular. We're working on the lenticular technology.
Here's the thing. Someone asked me this week if we could make a metal. If we could get a printed set metal tokens.
Yes, we have some dwarven smiths hard at work.
Well, here's the thing.
Mines of Moria.
The company that we get our tokens produced through has an option for metal tokens.
Okay. I mean, that's probably cheaper than the dwarves because they want to be paid in rare and exotic gems, which I got to be honest with you. I don't got any of those.
Not in this economy.
I don't have a single sapphire, not an opal to my name.
I don't even have any malachite.
An emerald? No way. No emeralds here.
No, I have a fossilized walrus tooth. I'm looking at it. It's on my desk.
Okay. Is that worth something? Is it polished? Is it ornate?
It's polished. I don't know how much value it has.
Okay.
But I have it.
I'll hook you up with my dwarf guy.
Yeah, we'll get an appraiser in here.
Thorbold, son of Grimwald, of course. You, you know him.
I know his dad.
I want to look him up on LinkedIn.
Yeah. I know his dad. Him and his dad and I used to play lawn darts together.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. It wasn't a bean.
Yeah, you'll love Thorbold. He's a
Okay.
good guy.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, apples usually don't fall far from the tree.
Nope.
Thorbold, I'm looking forward to meeting you, man. And check out this walrus tooth. You know, get you in here. We really need to know, you know, how much these or how much it's going to cost for these metal tokens. But if you are out there and you're listening to this, not you, Thorbold, we know you're listening. But if you're out there and you're listening to this and you want metal tokens, if you, for whatever reason, you want to motivate us to spend our money on metal tokens, but not actually buy them, let us know in the comments because we'll do it. We'll do it. Well, you just have to leave a comment.
Why not? Let's do it. Next phase.
Yeah, next phase. We're already taking steps forward. Metal tokens. Nobody else does that.
Can I announce this right here? And now the metal tokens will be functioning cryptocurrency.
You're about to get us in that Hawk Tua level of trouble.
Oh yeah. Do you think Hawk Tua is going to jail?
You know, the
Which
justice
is a normal sentence in the year 2025.
Yeah, the justice system would be broken if she doesn't. See how meta that joke was?
I get it.
Yeah. All right. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so by finding us on YouTube, where you can like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more notifications. And yeah, we're at 433. Wow, we're growing quickly. It was just a 400 a couple weeks ago. You guys are
what
awesome.
Happens when we get to 500?
The 500
metal tokens.
We're gonna get metal tokens.
Commemorative metal tokens.
Yeah. We'll probably be at 500 right around the time that I am at MagicCon in Chicago. So we'll see how many metal tokens I've procured at that point, or how many walrus teeth can convert into metal tokens at that, when we get to that point. But yeah, really looking forward to the con, really looking forward to, well, at that point, Aetherdrift will be out. We'll be seeing more cards throughout the course of the week and the course of next week. So yeah, exciting stuff. You can also support us on all major podcasting platforms, where you can leave us a 5-star review, make us look super duper cool. You can also support us on Patreon by becoming an official Pepperhead for $3 a month. Support the show. Make your name turn Dr. Pepper red on our Discord server. You can also support us at the Cherry Vanilla Pepperhead tier, like Maybe Anthony, KB, Mono Greg, Jacob Hibbard, Tommy Cypher, Demon82, K Mr. K, Will Rule, and UWP Quirt. Thank you all for your support. You're all wonderful. We love you. You can also join the 2-liter tier at $10 a month and get early access to our Card of the Week videos. And reminder, the Card of the Week is Agatha's Soul Cauldron. So I've had plenty of playtime with that card, and I love it. I love it. So I will expose my inner thoughts, not my Hulkbuster, but my inner thoughts on Agatha's Soul Cauldron. I'm not some heathen like Tony Stark. And you can check it out on our Patreon platform. And then the videos will release at a later time on YouTube. Anything more, Flash?
No. Nope.
Okay. Well, we have to chew up about 3 more minutes of time.
Okay, why?
No particular reason. I just figure that 3 more minutes is a good amount of time to riff, catch up, a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Night guy gonna do.
Night guy gonna do.
All right, that's all I got. Let's get out of here.
All right, see ya.
All right, peace. Bye.